friends. Today I filmed a little bit of like getting ready to go as an intro because I thought, why not? This is the Yarnchix news episode for December 2021. I do these kind of on and off throughout the year because I think it's kind of fun to do like an update about what's going on my pages, but also what I'm currently knitting on. Today I'm wearing my shifty sweater, which I absolutely love. I love that it's super colourful and bright, and some days it kind of just brings the sunshine. I am coming to you from Berlin Wedding. It is a grey November day. There potentially will be a drizzle later on. I've come home from the school run and I have, quickly tidied the space to chat to you. You can find me as Liebwed on Instagram. You can find the Yarnchix podcast archive there too, which is where I kind of share things about the podcast. I kind of keep it separate. I don't know, running two accounts is a bit weird, but then I do so many kind of knit-alongs and giveaways and stuff, and I wanted that to be in the podcast space. So that is the reason why. Seen a little kind of visual medley, and several things are happening at the moment. Most excitingly, it is Stashvent 2021. We've already started with our prompts and we've already shared who's swapping with whom, and they are already being made. Countdown calendars is what we're swapping, and they're completely created from Stash. So in some cases, you might have actually found like scraps or leftovers from old projects and made them into mini skeins or small yarn balls. In other cases, you might have cracked open that kind of special skein. Like I have a sock yarn that is a really special sock yarn, and I know I want to make socks from it, so I'll definitely have leftovers. So I've just kind of cranked 10 grams of that skein to share with my swappy. I crafted the Stashvent calendar. I made all the minis, and then I realized I'm sending within Germany, so it's gonna post really quickly. I don't think I have to worry about mail this time. So instead of like immediately packing it all up and sending it, I've put the minis in a bag in the freezer just to make super extra sure there's no critters involved. I keep all my stash in these kind of IKEA sealable bags and in an IKEA sealable kind of box, but you never know, those creatures are out to get our wool. So I'm like making super sure I'm not sending unwanted guests along in my box. Meanwhile, I have started crafting like crazy a new craft. It all started with our Halloween, and then I couldn't stop. And also I'd made so much paper glue that I'm basically continuously making paper mache. So this is number 24, so when my swappy will open their last bag, it's going to be Christmas, because they asked for a Christmas countdown calendar, and they're here in Germany where we celebrate on the 24th. Like Christmas Eve is like the biggest Christmas day, and kind of across Germany. My family celebrates on Christmas Day on the 25th because I'm married to an English person, and so we decided to do that, and the kids love getting the stockings in the mornings. But here the 24th is a big day, so I made this paper mache star using newspaper and cardboard and some like white tissue paper, and then I added the number 24 here. I especially like the stars on the star here. And as I'd created more space and time for myself with putting the mini skeins for like let's say weekend in the freezer, I also crafted the number tags. Yeah, I've got this one is nice, number 2, or back on number 18. I super enjoyed making these. I'm gonna continue making them because I still haven't run out of paper mache glue. So I will craft the same numbers for a second advent calendar. And that is the other like super beautiful news I have is last year actually one of the calendars wasn't sent or was lost in the mail. The person also started ghosting me after I repeatedly asked, hang on, what's going on? So I don't know if they felt bad or if something happened to them. I mean, we're mid-pandemic, these things, you know, they happen. Just kind of, it was a shame that this calendar wasn't sent. And I ended up like really spontaneously crafting a calendar from my stash back then, and it was a bit time sensitive. I think I managed to send it out, so it arrived on the first day of that particular countdown. But I wanted to prevent this, and when beautiful and kind Casey, who is what Casey makes, or what Casey made, offered to, you know, potentially send a second Stashvent calendar because she had so much stash, I said, why don't we kind of put together a calendar, like a spare, for safety reasons. So basically she sent me 12 mini cakes, and I'm winding 12 mini skeins, and we have this spare advent calendar or Hanukkah calendar. I would then add like 3 items per day, or New Year's calendar. You know, I could like potentially take some of the mini skeins out again. However, I'm so glad I've got this backup calendar here. I decided to craft the kind of number tags for that as well. Like I said, I'm in this kind of paper mache craze, and I will have that ready to be sent out like as an emergency thing. If any of you fall sick, have to quarantine, cannot make a Stashvent calendar, we just want to make sure that everybody gets their Stashvent, because we're all crafting them, we're swapping them, you know, everybody's sending them out and potentially receiving them from someone else. So I only had like one mistake I made where within America 2 people are sending each other calendars. I apologize for my late night mistake, because I drew numbers. It was like completely by chance that I combined the swappies, and earlier on I kept double checking, you know, who was sending whom, and to make sure this didn't occur. But once I didn't check. And also in Australia we had 2 people swapping, joining up to swap in Stashvent, where we craft countdown calendars from Stash and send them to someone else. So in Australia 2 people are sending each other, basically are properly swapping. I'm super excited that we have one spare, and come kind of end of November, when I realize what's going on, we've got one that could potentially go to someone else. So we'll have fun with that one. Casey was also super nice, and she sent me a present, which I can't believe. She sent me this pair of colorwork mitts. And aren't they just perfect? I absolutely love them, and I cycle to work every day, so these are coming in really handy as now. Sometimes we have like November chills and I get cold hands, so I've got them always in my bike bag, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for knitting me these. Casey used Rama Finul yarn, which is also one of my favorites from my shop. It's super nice in color work, and I'm gonna really cherish them. That was such a beautiful surprise, and I still can't believe it was there. Also, I can't believe that my calendar actually already arrived. I find a really nice place to set it up and get super excited for my countdown to begin. I can't believe like it's here, like the season, and how we have become, you know, a slightly bigger group this year. I think 3 more people signed up. Someone had to cancel, so I think it's 2 more calendars being made in total, but I don't mind, you know, the numbers that doesn't matter. I'm just excited that we're like sharing stash and we're not creating more stuff. We're actually using what we have. We're recycling treats and giving joy in this kind of countdown season where I think we're all kind of busy doing things, you know, maybe family, maybe work, maybe, you know, that kind of wintry, gloomy period here in the northern hemisphere. Maybe a kind of sweeter summer is coming period in the southern hemisphere. But yeah, so it will cheer us up, whatever our routines are, and I'm excited. So you would have seen a little bit of Stashvent crafting. Other things.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. A step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
I wanted to talk about, in Yarnchix news, I always update for what kind of stuff is gonna happen. So we have the swap wrapping up and sending off the big Magic 3-mile prize, and I apologize, I still haven't done the category winners, so I will make sure for this make along that I will announce the category winners and all the prizes will go out. So I reckon there's going to be a little pre-Christmas present for some people, and I'm super excited about that. And in my upcoming podcast, which I'm recording, let's say in 10 days time, so that it's ready at the end of November, I will share some more of my Magic 3-mile sets. I'm like busily finishing up the the set still, but I thought why not kind of take a moment and share about my Magic 3 Mile crafts in the podcast. Also for my Patreon, I'm recording extra podcasts. Actually, this month's extra podcast, so the Z-Nest podcast, is a last month's effort because I basically have all these socks that I finished in Socktober. So I've got a Socktober special. And actually I had this as content from the last podcast episode, which was my 50th podcast episode. Unbelievable. I actually recorded a whole Socktober part to this podcast, and whilst editing I noticed I was already going beyond 1 hour, so I had to edit out the whole sock section, the sock alarm. So I'm creating a sock alarm which will now have like an extra part to it where I show the finished things and the mending sock kind of outro knit reportage. So I'm very excited to edit the Socktober special for my podcasting friends over there. And for November and December I had kind of like a flash idea for this tier, and I'm gonna do a Corona diary. I know this is a bit weird, but I thought why not be a bit more honest about the stuffs that influence my day-to-day life and how things have changed. Why not kind of record when I have to go into quarantine or something happens at school while my kids are there and maybe they'll have to quarantine, and how I handle this, how I've stocked the shelves. And it's going to be a bit of a sinister, funny vlog because I'm a bit like, you know, I'm kind of like, I've got like, I'm a bit worn out by it all, and work is a really special place because I work in wool shops, as you might know, and obviously I see a lot of humans, so I'm changing things in my daily routine. I'm changing things again for winter season, and I wanted to record this, and kind of like whenever I have a moment and there's something going on, I'll talk about it without revealing personal data or details of other humans that aren't concerning me. I will obviously just talk about my perspective or my situation in those cases. So that will become like a regular vlog November, December for the kind of special vlog thing. And I am super so that's the vlog tier in the Patreon page. I'm super excited. You might have read my blog posts all about garden visits, and I got to visit my friend Elke's garden. She's a plant dyer, and her Instagram and her business is called Still Garments, and she has a really beautiful small garden that I got to visit, and I shared about that at the end of October. And November, I will be sharing about my own little allotment patch. So I'm super excited to write that up and share some photographs and my story with this piece of land that I have the huge privilege to be guided by and to garden in through the seasons. So I'm excited for that to be November's garden blog. I will also be sharing some poetry blog stuff because I've had an idea. So that is kind of, I've spoken about the Z-Nest, the vlog and the blog tier, and the last tier I need to mention for my Patreon page, where people support me for my art, for my podcasting, for my crafts. And generally I think it's a really generous space where I share things, and if you have the time you can read it. If you haven't got the time, no worries. I'm super grateful for the support I get there because it helps me both, you know, produce this podcast and all the bits and bobs around it, and it helps me organize things like the swaps, the make-alongs, the giveaways. It's a place for me to explore ideas and to share some behind the scenes content. So I'm excited to have that space. And the last tier that I need to mention, and it's a bit of a, I'm so sorry, oh my apologies, is the zine tier, because I have got set up a space over there where you can subscribe to my hard copy handmade slapdash knitting zine called Yarnchix zine, and I haven't sent any out this year, and I know this has probably led to some of you or some of the people who actually dropped out of that tier, which is fair enough, to believe that I'm not making them, but I am really slowly working on a very, very special zine, and I'm extra slow, and I apologize. I work too much. The bottom line is I don't have enough hours per day, and I wish I had more hours, and I wish I had that time and space to delve into this creativity that I need to kind of just unfold these zines and print them. And I am going to send all 3 of this year's hard copy zines in one envelope. That is my decision, and I know it'll postpone it even further, but I'm sure you will have them this year, and I'm sure I'm also saving money and postal journeys for items by just kind of going, okay, I haven't printed the two that I'm working on currently. Like, one literally just needs me to print it, as in kind of set out the digital format, and the other just needs to kind of solidify. The newest one will be something super exciting, almost like a picture book for adults. So I'm very excited to just make a creative zine, non-topical. So those will be, oh, it is very topical, but it's not like a zine in the Yarnchix zine family that is, you know, with all the different columns and all the different ideas. It will be an extra one. And in this way, I can send 3 zines all in one go, and they'll be very different from one another. And they will go out as soon as this second one is finished. I'm currently working on my Yarnchix zine number 9, which I am mega happy about. It's going to be a Berlin special. It's going to be very cartographic and about mapping out my city for you. I'm going to share places that I like. I'm going to show some things that you might enjoy. You will have insights into my home and into my ideas of mapping life through food, and obviously there will be like going on a March special as well as a Dance Chicks special. Potentially there will be a pattern, I don't know yet. This is kind of up in the open. There's a self-interview, which is a collaboration with Miku Maria, who is Disco Pippin, and she runs a zine, and she made a digital zine about Zoom stuff. So I got to self-interview myself. I'm going to just share that self-interview about, I'm going to share that in that. And instead of chickens this time, you will see some doggy returning, because I really miss my dog Marie, and I dreamt about her recently, and she basically reminded me that she has like really tied a lot of my life together in her own way by being my dog. And so she's gonna be hopping through this zine to map places that her and I have been, and to kind of just reappear in this kind of artistic way to become part of my zine yet again. And it kind of ties over to zine number 8, where she was actually the little meta zine. So this is me telling you I'm wrapping up things about what you get on my Patreon, and I'm going to talk about some finished objects. metazine from the last zine I made, and then my beautiful woven belt. I'm so excited. I finished this. I made this across a whole year. So it was a super long-term project, and I finished it, and it looks so nice when I wear it with my black dress. And sometimes when I wear the pink wono, I'll kind of tie it with this, and it makes this really nice structured bow. And I'm so glad so glad my friend Anda taught me how to do this. We're actually in the process of having some backstrap looms cut. I am very excited to kind of mix match the colors and have my own very own personal backstrap loom. It will definitely become something that I will be using stash for. I used lots of leftover sock yarns and all these colors and other yarns as well. And obviously it was very tedious because that was a very fine yarn to weave with, and I still haven't really managed to, you know, fix the gauge properly. So some of the places are a bit loose in this, but never mind, this is my first project and I really loved using the backstrap loom. I will be using it more and again. So watch this space for that. It was a joy to weave, and it's a perfect place to put all of that kind of stash yarn, crazy leftovers, as well as kind of making up your mind what kind of color combinations you want to do. The next one I think I might make very fluffy, and I intend to do it as a present for Christmas for someone. So watch this space for more weaving, and I will make sure to include some weaving action shots. I haven't really got much action shots. It was kind of my private, my personal learning curve with my friend, and I'm mega excited to spend more time with her weaving. And anyway, just spending time with her. She's a gorgeous person and a generous person, teaching me how to use the backstrap loom. The other project is not finished as such, but I can show it here as I am now free to show. This is the Sholography mystery knit along, and I've just about finished the brioche, the 2-color brioche section number 3, clue 3, section something, I think 10. So I'm just about to do the crazy woven effect, which I'm excited to do that. I am ready to try out something new, and I love all the yarns in this color combination. I will definitely be using the I'll get the skein, hang on. So the woven part, so section 11 will definitely be made from Bob Ratlos, or Releasing My Inner Bob. It's a colorway of Yippie Yarns by Janine. I'm very excited to use this next, and I just love it. It's the shades and coloring were all decided in support with my youngest child, and I kind of just love the woolly smell. I ended up using Mondim for the triangles, so I actually purchased 2 yarn balls. But it's non-superwash and nylon-free sock yarn, so I'm gonna make more stripy socks with it. That's how I excuse yarn purchases. That, you know, I made up my mind. It's a good yarn. I love this yarn. It's actually the yarn I knitted in the sweater, so fair enough. And so that will be not really finished, but I'm excited that I can show it here more publicly without having to give a spoiler alert, because he's now finished and shared like his whole design on there. And before I dash to work, before I paint on the face and dash off to work, I'm going to quickly show you the sock project. Oh, it's in this bag. This sock project, how I'm kind of almost done. It's the second sock. Of the Forest Fruit socks by Sashikobe, and I very close to finishing. It's a project, one of the sock projects I picked up for Socktober, and I'm excited. I am like redoing the decreases because I botched it up, so I'm redoing that, and I'm hoping that I'll finish them in time to film the Yarnchix Zenist, which is like a special in between podcast that I share over on Popchurn. So I'm off. I'm gonna paint my face on, and I'm gonna like share some packing of the beautiful prizes for Magic 3 Mile and some of my kind of artwork at the end. I hope you have a beautiful day, and this kind of behind the scene, what's coming to the page, what's coming to the podcast. Yarnchix news episode was fun for you. I hope you had time to like sip a tea and knit, which I will do this evening. So off to work now. See you later. Hi, welcome.